The honest truth is that most people think they are just going to figure labor out when they get to the hospital. But as a labor and delivery nurse for 25 years, I am here to tell you what actually happens when you walk into the hospital with that attitude of just winging it when you get there. I've seen thousands of patients come into the hospital both prepared and unprepared. So today I want to give you how you can get prepared for your upcoming hospital birth and know the difference that it's going to make when you are in labor. The first thing that I notice for people that are not prepared is that they don't recognize labor, and so they come in at the wrong time. And I've got to tell you that coming in very early labor, telling me you've had a contraction or two, can be really demoralizing when we end up sending you home because the hospital just is not the best place for you at that point in time. Of course, the converse is true as well. Waiting too long, coming into the hospital where, you have your baby just a few minutes after you arrive to the hospital can also be very traumatic. So understanding early labor, when you should go into the hospital, how to communicate with your healthcare team, even when you're at home, can be really important. And I'm here to say that it can also feel like really tricky because if you're here following the pregnancy nurse who helps you with hospital birth, you are likely planning on the hospital really managing your labor, but you really got to know how to manage that early labor at home on your own. I actually have a whole free labor signs checklist because it's not just contractions. I'm going to link it down below for you so you guys can grab that and know some of the other things that you're going to watch for beyond just contractions. And the online prenatal class for couples actually has a whole chapter on early labor at home, helping you know what to do, helping your partner to help you. So important. A lot of people skip that part or they just don't know what to do in that part. So make sure that you're learning those things as well. The next one is being unable to advocate for yourself. When you get to the hospital, we may offer a variety of interventions. Pitocin, breaking your water, offering an epidural if you're in a lot of pain, and being able to navigate that, asking questions, talking with your healthcare team, being the manager of that healthcare team, but also using your experts is so important to advocating for both your well-being and safety while you are in labor. Unprepared patients often feel like things are happening to them rather than them being engaged in the process and making choices for themselves. And I hate it when people feel like something just happened to them. That's not what we're looking for in the hospital at all, but there are a lot of different options that you need to kind of pick and choose between, like a choose your own adventure novel. And I feel like this is often where birth trauma starts. It's not from being in pain or labor itself. It's where you don't feel control of the things that are happening to you. And I promise that you can be an advocate for this. In my class, I actually go through scenarios where we're offering certain things and sometimes the person accepts it and sometimes they want to make a different choice. And watching those will help give you the words that you want to use to make a different choice in your birth. The next one is that your partner is just absolutely lost, and that ultimately affects you. You're obviously here on YouTube watching my full-length YouTube videos, which I think is awesome. That is definitely a step up from, just reels on social media. However, is your partner also watching these full-length videos or honestly even reels about pregnancy, or are they kind of just lost in how the whole process is going to work? Partners who are not prepared, and I've seen this 1,000 times, either hover over you, which is annoying, or they completely unengage and they're just over in the corner watching TikToks, which is not what you want either. And sometimes they're going to be answering questions that are very basic things in labor, and that can annoy you as well. So making sure that your partner is informed and engaged and feeling confident as well in the labor room can help both of you feel so much better and start this whole parenting thing on the right foot. And this isn't to knock on partners. I'm not here saying that partners suck at helping you out, but they need some information. This doesn't come naturally to people. It's not something that we all learned in high school. They just need the information because they want to help you. I think most partners absolutely do. And this is actually why I built my whole online prenatal class for couples, because I think partners do want to engage in this with you, and it can build an amazing team that can be so great for labor. Your partner can actually know what to do and things aren't catching them off guard. I'm going to link that birth class down below right now. Number 4 is that pain actually feels different when you are scared. When you add fear plus tension, you're going to have more pain. That is actual physiology. This isn't just you being weak. Prepared patients know what contractions feel like. They know how to cope with them. So they just feel less anxiety. They feel more prepared and confident. And that is even true with or without an epidural. And unprepared patients often talk about the pain in a very traumatic way, not because it was worse than maybe somebody else's pain, but because they ultimately just were not prepared for it. The last thing I see is that you may miss the window for what you ultimately wanted. If you want an epidural, there is kind of a window that is best to get it. And if you miss that window or you go too early, you may not ultimately end up getting the relief or the outcome that you're hoping for. You may want to try and avoid a C-section. And there are things that you can do during your labor to help you do that, but you've got to know them. Things like position changes, movement, pushing techniques that you can use that can really help you in all of these different things. Now, I don't share all of this just to scare you. The things that I've mentioned in here are entirely preventable. And you have time right now to change the outcome. My online birth class walks you and your partner through all of it. And it's easy to think that you've got lots of time, but your due date is coming faster than you think. And getting that birth class, getting started on it is going to be so helpful to make sure that you're one of those prepared couples that goes in versus one of the unprepared couples. Now, it's really easy to think that you might have control over these different things, but the reality is you need confidence in these different things. I actually have a whole video on confidence in birth versus controlling birth, and I'm going to link it up above and down below. But thank you for joining us here on The Pregnancy Nurse, where we get you prepared, not scared, for your upcoming hospital birth.